G'day there guys, the beard is finally gone and so is my dignity. It's Markee here, back at it again with another episode of r/Am I the A-hole? Now if you love today's episode, tell me what you think about it down in the comments below, chuck a like on the video, a prawn on the Barbie, and let's get to it. Posted by user throwaway4193729. Titled, Am I the A-hole for siding with my husband instead of my daughter? I want to start off by making it clear that my husband is also my daughter's father. He's not a stepdad, he is her dad. Last month, my daughter came home to spend the weekend with us. I had to run errands on Sunday morning, and when I got back, I found my daughter screaming and cursing at my husband. I asked both of them what happened, but my daughter just walked off. I found out from my husband that he made a joke, and she was upset because she didn't like it. My husband can have a strange sense of humor, so this wasn't a surprise. I heard the joke, and I think it wasn't exactly a good joke, but that still doesn't give her the right to scream at her father in his own house like that. I found my daughter upstairs, and since I didn't think she'd be willing to speak to her father just yet, asked her to take some time to cool off, and then apologize for yelling. This made her start yelling at me about how she wasn't going to apologize, she was expecting an apology. If she didn't get one, she was going to leave. I didn't think he needed to apologize for a joke, even if it was in bad taste, and our daughter ended up leaving. It's been almost a month, and we haven't heard from her. She won't reply to our texts or calls, but her sister has been talking with her, so we know she's getting them. I'm starting to think I should have pressed my husband to apologize to her. Am I the a-hole? Edit. From what I understand, this is what happens. Our daughter usually wears a lot of makeup. It's a bit of a hobby for her. That Saturday, she came downstairs without putting it on, and my husband started laughing. Then he said, "Did you ever let your ex-boyfriend see you like that? No wonder he left." That's when she started screaming at him. Of course, he didn't mean it, it was just a joke. Unfortunately, he was the only one who found it funny. But I don't think it's something to cut contact with us over. Dude, that is so unnecessarily harsh to say to your daughter, even if it's your stepdaughter, Jesus Christ. Why do you think that's an okay thing to say? That's not funny. Especially if you both, as the parents of this daughter, know that she's sensitive to things like that. Why did he think that was a good idea? And then you backing him up makes this even worse. You're not even defending your own flesh and blood. You're just like, oh, calm down. He's just attacking your insecurities and the reason that someone left you alone. God, why are you freaking out so much? You both suck. I feel bad for this daughter. You're the a-hole and so is your husband. That joke was horrible and insensitive. Your daughter has a right to be upset, and the fact you're defending him makes you a pretty crappy parent. It's fairly telling that she didn't include the joke in the original post, because deep down she knows her daughter has the right to be upset. Imagine asking someone to apologize for getting upset that someone called you ugly, and that's the reason your significant other left you. Right? And given her reaction, I'm pretty sure that this is not the first, second, or even 10th time he's said something like that to her. You're the a-hole. Bingo. I doubt this is because of a joke. It's probably because of a lifetime of that crap. Even if that wasn't the case, still, you're the a-hole. It was a joke, lighten up, is what a-holes say to people they just said something crappy to as a way to shift the blame for their crappiness to the other person. What your husband said was insensitive and cruel, and you supported him over your daughter, who was obviously hurt by her father's nasty comment. You're the a-hole, and your husband is a giant a-hole too. Posted by user throwrawxbh. Titled, Am I the a-hole for throwing one of my twin daughters over a fence while being chased by a dog? My husband was having headaches, so I decided to go to the pharmacy to get him some medication, and I took my daughters with me. I don't think it was that late, but it was pretty dark out. We could have took the car, but the pharmacy is only a couple of blocks away from our house, and the twins wanted to walk. Besides, our neighborhood is pretty peaceful, and I thought it would be good exercise. While we were walking, a dog started barking and lunging at us. We didn't pay it too much attention because it was on a chain. We went to the pharmacy, got the medicine, and on our way back, we passed the dog again. Again, it started barking and lunging at us, but this time the chain snapped. I saw a black mass moving fast towards us in my peripheral, and I just picked up my daughters and ran. My daughters are both 5, that's like 40 pounds each, but adrenaline strength is real. I used to run track in high school and college, but nowhere near as fast as I was running in that moment with 2 kids and a plastic bag full of medication. However, the dog was right behind me, and my daughter on the left side was slipping, and I didn't want her to fall and get eaten or bit by a dog. We were passing a house with a fence, and I kinda tossed her over the fence into the lawn and kept running with my other daughter. A guy had just parked his car and got out, and I started running to him screaming help, and he chased the dog away and walked with me while I went back to go get my daughter. She was unhurt, but she was crying and saying I left her, and why couldn't I have thrown her sister instead? No. We get home and my husband asks us what took us so long. I tell him, we got chased by a dog. And before I could tell the whole story, our daughter blabs, "Mummy threw me over the fence," and runs to him and starts crying. He looks at me upset and demands to know what happened. After I finish telling him, I thought he would understand, but he starts saying things like, what if she got hurt? What if she fell on some glass and cut herself? What if the dog stopped chasing you and jumped over the fence at her? I was already feeling guilty, and I wound up saying, "Okay, sorry, I get it." But he kept going, "No, you don't get it, blah blah blah," and I yelled at him, "What should I have done then, huh? And here's your stupid medication. Next time, get it yourself." I swear, I was going to throw the bag at his stupid face, but they were all staring at me in shock because I'm not really a yeller and I felt bad. I threw the bag on the counter instead and went to our room and slammed the door. I did tuck the kids in for bed later, and I had to apologize to them because they said, "Mummy, when you yelled at Daddy you said the S word, i.e. stupid." Anyway, my husband has kind of been tiptoeing around downstairs, and I want him to come to bed already. But I know we have to finish talking about this incident, and I just wanted some perspective on this. I don't think you suck in this situation. I really do think you were looking after your child, and you didn't really have an option. What, you're going to drop that child and just let it get mauled by a dog? That's unacceptable, and in the heat of the moment, our monkey brain switches on and we do what we can with the best of our abilities. Sure, she got thrown over a fence, but it's better than the latter happening and her getting attacked. There is really no wiggle room in this one. At least you were telling the truth, and at least you got it out there. I think you guys just need to reconcile and move on from this one. The kids are not hurt, and peace is back. Not the a-hole. Your instincts kicked in. Better her with a broken arm than mauled by a dog and traumatized. Husband wasn't there, so he has no say. At least OP did it with the idea of protecting her child in her head. Child slipping plus fence equals safe behind barrier. Unlike the mum who left her child behind in the middle of the road with a car hydroplaning towards him. Or the dude who thinks his wife should protect him first if the apocalypse happened. Sorry kids, gotta make sure your grown-ass father is safe before I look after you. That was so stupid, that was the last episode. I can't believe some people, man. Not the a-hole. This is no different from violently shoving someone out of the way of a speeding car. The way we physically interact with someone's body when we believe it is in imminent mortal danger is obviously much more aggressive. Shoving, throwing, tackling than what anyone would normally do. You made a split-second decision to throw your daughter into the safety of an enclosed space rather than risk her, or all 3 of you, being mauled due to slowing down. Yes, it was a risk, but it was harm reduction, a reasonable risk. I understand your husband was probably freaked out, but it was unreasonable for him to suggest that weighing the relative risks of snarling dog thundering towards us And possibility of glass on the other side of fenced-in yard? Is it all easy or clear-cut? You did not have time to run through all the what-ifs, and it's silly to expect anyone to do so in an emergency. Standing there dilly-dallying about all the possible outcomes could have gotten you or your children bitten. Saying, "No, you don't get it," is domineering and patronizing. He's the one who wasn't there. He should have the trust and humility to consider that he might not be the one who gets it, and get the full story from his partner instead of a 5-year-old. And it's a bit concerning that his first reaction was to lecture you instead of, ask what happened and if you're okay. Posted by user NoZucchini4614. Titled, "Am I the a-hole for going to work for a few days to teach my husband a lesson?" Okay, I get the title sounds horrible, but hear me out. I have a 12-year-old son and a 13-month-old. Before the pandemic, I worked part-time, went to school part-time, and took care of the house and kids when not doing the other two. Since the pandemic, I became a stay-at-home mum, still going to school, taking care of the house and kids. But now with the school back in session and my son doing e-learning, I also help a lot with that. I have a pretty strict schedule that I keep for myself to allow me to get household chores and the schooling for myself and my son done each day. One day last week, I had a migraine. Nothing I did helped ease it. At some point after 3 p.m., after my son was out of school and baby was down for a nap, I laid on the couch to try and help the migraine, which did help. My husband came home while I was sleeping and was already in a crap mood and yelled at me that I didn't do anything all day except sleep, eat, and get fat. I tried to explain to him that I hadn't been feeling well and napped because of that. He said that was an excuse, and how would I like it if I went to work all day and he was home with the children, and I came in and he was asleep on the couch? I said I would assume that you were tired or not feeling well. Husband took a few days off work. I made arrangements with a friend to do temp work with her. I went to work for a few days, leaving him my daily schedule as a guide. The first day he called me 20 times because he couldn't handle my son's schoolwork, couldn't handle taking care of the baby, couldn't even go to the bathroom without one of them needing something. The second day, he called me 10 times with the same complaints. Both days, he was asleep on the couch because he was exhausted from trying to keep up with the kids and housework. I went to work the third day. He showed up with the kids and dropped them off without saying anything to me or my friend. Luckily, my friend didn't mind. When I got home the third evening, he was asleep on the couch. I let him sleep, I mowed the grass, pulled weeds, cleaned up the house, made dinner. I tried to wake him for dinner. He refused to wake up. Got the kids bathed and ready for bed before he woke up. Husband barely did the minimum of caring for the house and kids while I worked. He said I did it to make him look like a crap parent. I said no. I did it to teach you a lesson that just because you don't see me actively doing something when you come home doesn't mean that I haven't done anything all day. This all started because you refused to let me tell you I had a migraine and was just barely able to function that day. Luckily, my oldest knows what he needs to do for schoolwork, just sometimes needs some help with it. Baby is up at 7 but goes down for a nap at 12, and he sleeps for 3 to 4 hours. Am I the a-hole for trying to get my husband to see what I do on a daily basis? I'm surprised you allowed him to drop the kids to your work while you're doing some temp work for your friend and just didn't make a show of it. I would have kicked his ass for doing that to me. Who the hell does he think he is? He's a parent. He doesn't get to just nod out on these responsibilities. You're genuinely letting him get off the easy way here. I'd give you an everyone sucks here for not letting him learn his lesson the hard way. But ultimately, it's a not the a-hole because you're doing it a much softer way. You know your husband, you know how he ticks. Hey, that's respectable, that's commendable. You're showing him that you're the alpha in this relationship and he's the beta. Nothing wrong with that. You just show that you have a better ability to parent than he does, by the looks of it. And your emotional and mental strength is much stronger than his. Not the a-hole, but don't let him do that to you again, please. Yelled at me that I didn't do anything all day except sleep, eat and get fat. Not the a-hole. I'm surprised you're tolerating that type of verbal abuse, and I would highly recommend therapy and also a divorce attorney. Update to clarify my position, since several people are clutching their pearls at the mere mention of the D word. I would like to point out that I recommended a divorce attorney, not a divorce. For anyone experiencing spousal abuse, verbal, emotional, or physical, simply thinking of your exit strategy can be overwhelming and scary. Speaking with a divorce attorney can do several things. 1. It can help you understand the laws of your state and the legal options available to you during the process. 2. It can give you a sense of timeline and to understand how the process would work in the court system. 3. It can give you an understanding of the division of custody and marital assets. Armed with this information, you will be able to have better control over a situation should the need arise. You'd never berate someone for speaking with an investment advisor for information or consulting a doctor for a second opinion, so I'm not sure why consulting an attorney to understand how divorce works should continue to be so stigmatized by society. And Lilu Pipu, great name, says, please read this free book, OP, it will change your life. And there should be a link to that I've pinned in the comments below if you'd like to read it. Sunday's Child says, this book has helped me so much trying to understand my soon-to-be ex-husband's treatment of me. It's amazing, please read. Yes, when I read it, it changed my life. I could finally make sense of what has happened and learn to take back my autonomy and personhood. This book is important for anyone to read. Not the a-hole. Husband barely did the minimum of caring for the house and kids while I worked. He said I did it to make him look like a crap parent. No. I didn't do it to make you look like a crap parent. I did it to show that you were being a crappy person to me. But apparently I'm not done, if you still have not learned the lesson. Posted by user GloomyBread5596, titled, Am I the a-hole for telling my wife that it was bad parenting for her to take a pregnancy test with our daughter in the bathroom with her? My wife had already taken one test and gotten a faint positive. She was fairly sure she was pregnant because of that and the symptoms she had been experiencing. So when she tested a few days later, she asked our daughter if she wanted to do it with her. Our daughter did, so they took the test together. I only found out later when the test confirmed my wife was pregnant, and she told me. I let my wife know that I thought this was bad parenting. Our daughter, 10, is still too young to be exposed to things like that, and certainly up close. There was no reason or justification for it. I have never heard of a mother doing a pregnancy test together with her daughter, and even if it was a thing, it would still be wrong in my view. She also should have asked me first before she did something like this. I don't think this decision should have been made unilaterally. All of this makes it a really poor decision, in my opinion. My wife doesn't agree. She felt it was a bonding experience and an opportunity for her and our daughter to talk about their bodies and educate her more on pregnancy and the reproductive system. She thinks I owe her an apology for saying she acted like a bad parent in that situation. I disagree. Not sure if either or both of us are being the a-hole. I mean, I don't think that she's the a-hole in this situation. It's her daughter, and she can educate the daughter on her body in whatever way she'd like. I'm sure that's not perfectly putting it into words how it should be said, but I'm dumb. And I just think that the OP in this situation is going about it so wrong. He's just like, no, you can't do it because I don't think this is the way it should be done. It should be done unilaterally, and even then, I don't agree with it. Like, that's no way to parent, that's no way to marriage, that's no way to get along with another human being. You don't just lay down the law, you talk with them. Why did they do it? Why did you think it wasn't a good idea? Why do they think that you're wrong? Why do you think they're wrong? And where can we come to a middle ground here? You are just not allowing any room for discussion here, OP. You suck, and I think you need to just learn that it was okay what she did. You're the a-hole. You do realize your daughter could start her period any day now, or any time in the next 2 years. And all your wife did was pee on a stick and talk about hormones and fertility cycles. I'm betting. You're the a-hole. 10 is not too young. My oldest started sex ed and puberty talks at 10 in school. You're the a-hole. I'm not sure any man, even the father, should try to criticize a mother for teaching her daughter about things related to reproduction. Certainly demonstrating that mummy can learn at home if she's pregnant or not isn't the first step in the decline and fall of the traditional family, or whatever it is you hold dear. Nor should she be required to ask her husband's permission before talking to a female child about her own experiences. This is a natural way to learn. What do you think happened before sex ed? They watched their mothers get pregnant and give birth, or learned on a farm or with pets. Sex exists in the wild without parental permission. You're the a-hole. Okay, and I think that's where we're going to end today's episode, guys. As always, I do hope you enjoyed it, and maybe even learned something from these stories. Just want to say a quick shout out to my Patreon subscribers and my channel members. You guys should be on the screen right now. If you do see yourself, I want you to give yourself a little pat on the back for being amazing and supporting me on this channel, this little journey we're going on the YouTubes. I really appreciate it, and you guys enabled me to do all this amazing work. So if you do see yourself, I love your face and I'm happy to see you. Also guys, if you want to pitch in your own support, you don't have to, but channel links are down in the description below to support the Patreon, the channel membership, whatever you want to do. It's kind of like tipping me if you feel like I'm doing a good job on this channel. I will be opening up avenues for content on those in the future. Just right now I'm kind of bogged down and stuck in Ireland, but you know, it is what it is. Anyway, guys, with that said, I do hope you have a wonderful day today. Whatever you're up to, I'd love to know down in the comments below. I do hope you have a good day, night, sleep. Whatever you're up to today, tell me, and I'll see you in the next episode, guys. Bye.